And I'm like, what's going on? And then someone like translated, basically said like, this is so the snakes don't bite you. And I was like, well, this is fun. And then they send us out into the darkness, like, so I had a bear bell. I got snake powder on my legs. It was
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 119 of the On the Runs podcast, brought to you by Monday Night Media. That's right, first time saying that on the pod. I just got back from an amazing run this evening, and it was beautiful outside. Erica is still in recovery mode from the Anchor Down Ultra Marathon. 6-star Erica, how are you feeling?
Well, as you could tell, my immune system took a hit and I am sounded a little rough around the edges, but my body feels great other than that.
Feels like Freaky Friday. The last month or so, I've been sick.
I've
had no voice.
Right?
All of a sudden, you have no voice, and mine is pretty much back. I think I'm at 96%.
Yeah, you sound normal. I do not. I'm right in the thick of it. I think it's from this weekend, literally sucking wind straight down my windpipe. So, I mean, I have sounded a lot better.
For those of you who don't know, for those of you who might just our guest on today's pod, who is like this badass trail runner, ultra runner, right? And so you're like, oh, I want to hear this awesome podcast with this awesome guest. Well, Erica just ran
you're not getting my
the
best.
Anchor Down Ultra Marathon in Bristol, Rhode Island. That's Colt State Park. It's a badass ultra. Starts at 7 p.m. You did 12 hours, 7 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the race really quick, because the weather here always sucks, whether it's hot, cold, rainy. What was it like this time?
God, this year was a little bit of everything, and I don't know how it happened all at once, but it was hot, it was humid, it was rainy, and it was windy, all at the same time. I don't understand.
What was the name of the hurricane? Hurricane Debbie?
Debbie.
Or was it Tropical Storm Debbie? So you had it all, because Debbie came to play.
Yeah, Debbie definitely came to play. She pardon my French, she fucked shit up. Like she really threw a wrench into a lot of people's plans this weekend. But I mean, Anchor Down is always epic no matter what. And as you said, no matter the weather, epic it will be. So
epic it will be. That's right. I guarantee epic weather.
He always does, and it delivered for sure.
It's epic right now. I went on a run, my long run Saturday, and I wrote to my coach, I feel like I've been struggling and should be doing better, but I know it's this heat and humidity. And I just ran now, and it felt like the perfect fall day. A couple weeks early for fall, but it felt great this evening.
Oh, yeah. I'm bummed that I'm not feeling up to it right now, because I could go out and run. My legs feel great. It's just, I don't think my... Shut up. I don't think the rest of me could handle it. I'd be hacking up a storm.
Anchor Down looked great for the start. How was it at the start, and when did it start to rain?
All right. So we were just watching the weather all day long. We thought that it was going to rain for my entire race. So we're talking 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., like straight. Luckily, it was very windy and hot and humid to start. We were talking like probably mid 80s, 95% humidity. There were like at least 20 mile an hour winds constant. And then you got like 30 to 40 mile gusts in your face, like at certain points on the course. So the rain held off for a good amount of time, which was great. We got to get quite a few laps in before anything happened. And it was about 11:30 at night. That's when it really started to happen. And we're running along the nice shoreline. We got a beautiful tailwind at that point. But then you turn a corner, it's like right by that pier. You know what I'm talking about, in the grassy hill.
I know what you're talking about.
That's when you get smacked in the face by the headwind. And with the rain, it was like stinging you. It was pelting. So it was pretty intense. But after a few laps with the rain, the trail section just got totally destroyed.
After I made it perfect.
You did. And oh my gosh, I feel so bad. All of your hard work disappeared.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. So that made it a little tricky.
So did you fall?
No, I did not fall. I was doing really well. And once it got slippery in there, though, I just took my time. I mean, there was just no going fast for me. Me being very cautious on trails, I suppose you could say. I had to take it easy, but I didn't even trip. I think this was probably the best trail run I've ever had because I was actually running like 9 laps of that. So go me.
Pat yourself on the back.
Hell yeah, doing it.
So many people look like set some records too, like some personal records.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let me just tell you, this was not my year. I was just going for a finish. Nope.
I was just going, not even a top 10.
I was just going for a finish at like a certain point. So I needed 16 laps and 39.2 miles to get a finisher medal and an official like finish in the record.
Yeah.
So that was my goal after a while. But man, people did come to play. It was incredible. Somebody broke the course record for the women for the 12-hour. That was awesome. And then I don't know if you looked at like some of their social media this weekend. There was a guy who was registered for both the 6-hour and the 12-hour.
I did see that. And he had the goal to set the course record for both.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think he hit the 12-hour. I'm not sure what he did for the 6, but he came in first place for both of those races for the men. I was just like, that's incredible. Good for him. I mean, there was some epic shit that went down this weekend, and I'm super proud of everybody who went out there and tried their hardest. And this may have been their first anchor down or their 10th anchor down because this was the 10th annual. Jay said that during his epic speech in the beginning. So
how was his speech? His legendary speech.
He's wonderful. Jay is he's just so well spoken. He knows how to talk to the crowd, to get you hyped up, to let you know what you're in for, but in kind of a encouraging way. So he had a great speech as always.
Was there any good reaction to the podcast last week when we were out there doing the trail work and then had Jay on the pod?
I got so many compliments, and it just feels so good to hear that people liked hearing what we had to say, what Jay had to say. One of the people who gave me a glowing review was Billy. He was commenting on our posts, like when you were talking about it. He won the 12-hour. I think the age group for the men. So he did awesome when he was out there. I was actually camped right next to him, so I got to talk to him for a little bit, and just people were really enjoying it. So I'm glad that we're putting out stuff that people like to hear.
It's actually our most watched YouTube video.
Nice. Oh, I gotta send it to my dad.
Pretty cool. Yeah, make sure your dad watches. So if you don't know, we put all our episodes, or we're trying to put them all on YouTube, and today's with our amazing guest, Andy Glaze, will be on YouTube. We'll get to Andy in a few minutes because we need to thank 2 cool people. This is long overdue. But we have 2 new Patreons, Ron Kuzmar and Ultra Chad. Why don't you start with Ultra Chad, who you met last month?
Oh, man. It's Chad Ultra, by the way. Got to get it right.
No, I'm going to do it wrong because he's my arch nemesis.
He's going to come fight you, and I'm not going to stop him.
And I'm going to fight back. We're enemies, remember?
All right. We got Chad, AKA Jeremy. You're awesome. He's one of the Yetis that I got to meet out in Washington, and he's just super cool. He made me feel so comfortable out there. Like him and his crew took care of me because I was kind of winging it when I was out running the 100. And they were just so encouraging while we were out there, and even set up the after party, and we got to hang out afterwards. So super cool guy. He's doing awesome things out in the Washington area. Also, I'm super jealous of where you live because it's gorgeous. But yeah, he may come throw some bows at you. I don't know.
Chad actually wrote us a review, and I have this review because
I think you're going to have to read it because my voice is dying.
He sent it to me, so finally I have a review to read.
Yes.
5 stars. His name is Peanut, by the way. It must be Apple or wherever he rates. 5 stars. 2 runners worth fighting. Listening to these 2 friends talk sparks so much joy and happiness, which I don't like because when I run, I use anger and spite to fuel my record-setting pace. It's hard to have someone as your nemesis when they make you smile and laugh while sharing interesting stories. Steer clear of this podcast if you want to win your next 5K Ultra. From Ultra Chad.
He's going to make me start coughing from laughing. Oh,
what a review.
I could not ask for anything more perfect. So if anybody else feels like doing reviews, you got to beat that. Good luck.
Yes, make it a competition. Let's see. Send them in. We'll read them on the pod.
Let's
we'll do it
go.
before the guest segment, and we'll compare.
Let's
they're all
go.
great. We love you all, but who can do the best? Our other amazing brand new Patreon, and he jumped in at a custom rate. I didn't know you could do a custom rate. He went right in the middle, so we'll call that the sweet spot. But our good friend Ron Kuzmar is now a Patreon. How cool is that, Ron? What's up, buddy?
We love to see it, Ron. Thank you.
How's the light show these days?
Oh, I know, right?
The Boston Celtics must have given him a huge bonus to jump on our Patreon because he does the lighting at the Garden for the Celtics and the Bruins. He does all the light shows, and they won the NBA title. Basketball is like a minor league sport. We all know this, but they won a title, so there must be some bonus money in there. Good for you,
hey,
Ron.
If he wants to throw it our way, I'm not going to say
yeah.
no.
Ron has we've gone back and forth on podcasting because he actually has a podcasting about lighting in the whole lighting community. Who would have thought? But it actually does pretty well, and they get sponsors and they have some guests in the area, the industry, and so they do pretty well. Like they get paid to do the podcast. How cool is that?
And that is too cool. I'm getting really excited about all this, and it's making me cough. So apologies, everybody.
Hey, I've been there. I was there the last couple of weeks. I had to mute my microphone. How often?
I'm not quick enough. I gotta like hover my mouse over the mic button so I can.
I always have the mouse on Riverside right over Mike, or at least I did the last month. And sometimes you would like look at me on the screen and go, Mike. You'd be like, you're still muted.
We need a symbol for that. Maybe we'll talk about it.
We could do this. This is Shark in our house. My 3-year-olds do Shark. They want Baby Shark, which isn't the song. It's a show now, and it's a terrible show. Bring back Bluey. I want more Bluey in my life.
Is Bluey gone?
No, it's just everything's in phases.
Oh.
Bluey's still a big in our house. So
good.
But let's get to our amazing guest segment, and then we got to talk about it after because this was during a thunderstorm that rolled through town.
Yeah,
and I was on pins and needles, like not to lose internet connection, and you had a little bit of we'll call it a panic attack. You handled it really well. We'll talk about that after, but we have an amazing guest today, Erica. Tell everyone who we have, even though they already know.
I know. I am so excited that we have the one and only Andy Glaze on the podcast. He's one of my favorite Instagram ultra runners because he's out there doing epic shit all the time. He's running all these crazy races. Like he's got one coming up. We'll talk about it at the end of the episode, but he's man, like,
you are feeling it today.
I'm living vicariously through him because he's doing all the hard shit that I want to someday do, but I'm too scared, and someday I'll get there.
Don't be scared, just do it. He was so proud of you when you did. Oh, well, you'll hear about it, but he was proud of you at one point when you told him how many miles you got, and he goes, that's something to be proud of. So
yeah,
Andy's great.
Proud. You're doing anything, he's on your side and he's rooting for you.
Yeah, Andy's great. We talk a lot about mental health on this one too, so it's great. Guys, enjoy Andy Glaze on the On the Runs podcast. Our next guest on the pod is a legend in the ultra running community. He's been running over 100 miles a week for the past 223 weeks. For all you running mathletes, that's over 4 years going. He does it all with a smile on his face because if you're not smiling, you're doing it wrong. We are wicked excited to welcome Andy Glaze to the On the Run podcast. What's up, Andy?
What's going on?
We're so pumped to have you, Andy. You are one of my ultra running inspirations, just being out there, being happy about all these grueling, tough races. And you make me want to try harder during my races. So thank you for being an inspiration. And thank you for joining us on our show today. We're so pumped. Of course.
Yeah, my master plan is working then if you're out there running because of me. Or I'm inspiring you to run hard things.
One of the last notes I have is how you're inspiring others, and I guess Erica just got to that right away. You're inspiring her.
I love your content on the socials just because you're fun with it. Like you're just trying to enjoy what you're doing, and like you said, if you're not smiling, you're not doing it right. So
I mean, I feel like you can follow professionals who are like really good at it. I'm just kind of like, mediocre, but I'm having a good time and hopefully inspiring people to dip their toe in the ultra world.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think you were inspiring a friend of ours a while back. We had a girl on, her name was Abby Bandai, and she was doing her first ever ultra, the Rocky Raccoon 100. And as we're following her story, and she's at the starting line, she has the camera in front of her, and then she kind of pans it over to her friend Matt Johnson, and then behind him was you, and she goes, "Guys, not a big deal. It's my first 100-miler, and look who I'm with."
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, and she was talking about that race and how brutal the weather was. I think it just got really muddy, and it's 5 laps of a course, I think, and the last lap was just like super brutal for everybody.
Yeah. I've done that race 3 times, and I normally do it in I think, man, I'm so bad with my results, but I think normally under 19 hours, so 18 something, and last year it took me 23 hours. So it was very, very, very brutal as far as we got this crazy rainstorm, and there was a lot of sections where you're knee deep water. And then when you weren't in the water, you were just in ankle deep mud the whole time. And, it's I'm not a mud runner. So, it was very, very challenging for me, but, got it done. If you do Rocky Raccoon 5 years, you bring your buckles, the buckles are this big, and you bring them and you turn them in, and they give you this giant buckle that's this big. It's a 5-year buckle. So I'm slowly working my way up to 5 years at Rocky Raccoon so I can get that giant buckle.
You're well on your way.
You just hit 3, you said.
Let's say I've done 3 years. So yeah, next year will be 4, and then hopefully I can do it another year.
Do they have to be consecutive?
No, you just need 5 finishes.
Perfect.
So it's a really good, I think, first 100, because it only has 6,000 feet of vert. So it's pretty flat. And, with a looped course, you have a lot of access to crew, which is always really nice. I think technically you don't go further than maybe 5 miles without an aid station. So really, you don't even really need to carry much, which is always nice as well. The only thing with Rocky is it's in February, so sometimes it's really, really cold there. I think the first 2 years I did it, the start line was 20 degrees, which was which is pretty brutal. But yeah, I mean it's a good first 100 for sure.
Is that one in Texas? Was that where it was?
Yeah, it's right outside of Houston. It's in a swamp. So there's technically alligators in the swamp, but I think normally in February it's too cold for them to do.
They're gonna leave you alone.
Yeah, someone sent me a picture of they did see one last year, but it was just sleeping in the water. So
it can stay. It can stay in the water.
Yeah. I want to see one. There's one in I think December called Brazos Bend, which is also in Texas, and it's notorious for having alligators sleeping on the trail.
Oh, no.
So As I do ultras, I like to collect the amount of animals I've seen while running ultras, and then I'd like to, bucket list a alligator. I think that'd be cool.
You know what I call that? I call that a code brown.
It really is.
Yeah, you would definitely code brown if you saw a big old alligator for sure.
So out of your list of animals that you've seen, what's the coolest and or scariest one that you've encountered?
I mean, I've seen a mountain lion, which is not really super cool. It's cool, but it's pretty scary. One time I was doing a 100-miler, and I was chasing a sub 24, which was really important to me. And at mile 75, there was a giant bear on the trail, and wouldn't get off the trail. And I was a bit out of my mind at the time, and decided I was going to start barking at it and try to chase it off the trail, which my pacer was not super thrilled with, but it did work. Apparently bears do not like dogs. But it was a giant bear.
Man.
I've seen rattlesnakes and stuff like that too, but I'd say the bear was probably it was very close to me, maybe 20 feet away. So
yep, I would have code browned myself. Yes.
Yeah. Well, when you're 75 miles in, you're a bit out of your skull. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't
get a little bit more brave that way.
Yeah, fear is probably a different emotion.
Over the weekend when I was doing my ultra,
it was probably 2:00 in the morning. I was running with, actually, I believe he's a friend of yours, Ed Eddinghausen.
Oh yeah,
The jester?
Yeah, of course.
I shared several laps with him, and he was good company. But him and I were running, and we were hearing some real weird noises in the woods. And I was like, "Is that an owl? I can't tell what it is." And I think it was some kind of like big cat. So we just kind of picked it up at that point and just went. We never saw what it was. We never heard it again. But thankfully, I had a friend with me, so I didn't freak out.
You just push him down and then run faster.
I offered him one of my poles. I'm like, all right, you can have one, I can have one, and together we might be able to fend this thing off. So, but Andy, we really should get into why we're here. We want to hear about you, about your running stories, but we kind of need to get to know you a little bit better first. So why don't we get into how you started running? Like, what's your, I guess, origin story? Like, what got you into sports? Were you active as a kid? Did you just love running forever? Like, how did it happen?
Yeah, I definitely did not love running as a kid. I pretty much played football my whole, like from third grade all the way through high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, in football, running is like a punishment. So like when you get in trouble, they make you go run.
I feel like it is for a lot of sports, right?
Yeah. So there wasn't like a big, like me loving running. And then I definitely, like when I went to college, I was very unhealthy, like smoked cigarettes. I remember talking to people who ran, and I just like I couldn't like wrap my head around it. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, no, I wake up early and then I go run like 6 miles," and I'm like, "I don't. What do you mean?" Like I just like I didn't know this was something that people like did.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I took like a class in college, and like I had to do my resting heart rate. My resting heart rate was like 85. And I'm like, 20 years old. So I was like really unhealthy. And after college, continued being pretty unhealthy, like didn't work out, didn't do anything. And yeah, I started getting like really bad anxiety and like depression kind of things, and like felt terrible and I didn't know what a panic attack was. And I didn't, this is kind of like the internet, just before WebMD and before you could like listen to a podcast and like self-diagnose, you just like kind of had to like raw dog life. And
yeah.
So I was having all these like symptoms, and somebody suggested like, hey, like you're young, like exercise might be like a good solution. And so I got a personal trainer and I started like working out. I didn't run. I did like the elliptical trainer, and I lifted weights and did all that stuff. And then it started to make me feel better. So I was like, oh, I need to learn more about this. And again, no, there was internet, but like, very limited back then on like the type of information that was on there. So I signed up for a local community college class because like back in the day, if you wanted to learn things, you either read books or you like, took college classes. And so I took this college class on exercise science, trying to learn more about it. And, one of the things we had to do was run 1.5 miles the first day, and then like 1.5 miles at the end of the semester, just, and try to improve your time. And so I started running, I ran this 1.5 miles, and it was terrible. It was like, I ran 1 mile, and then I had like 2 loops to go. And then, I just like ate shit the last 2 loops. And so I'm like, oh, I need to get better at this. And I'm like one of those people that's, if I suck at something, then I'm going to like try to get better. And so I just kept trying and running. And then by the end of the semester, I was able to like do the 1.5 miles, like faster and better and stronger. And, but I remember that first 1.5 miles, I was super sore. Like I couldn't even like sit on the toilet, and this is just running 1.5 miles, right? That's how out of shape I was. So I was like, well, if I just keep running, then I'll never get to this point again where I'm like so sore I can't sit on the toilet. Of course, I didn't know that I'd be running, 100, 200 mile races where I still can't sit on the toilet after these races. So,
that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed, just the distance.
Yeah, exactly. So I just never stopped after that. And it just like progressed. So, I obviously stopped smoking cigarettes. I started getting healthier, and, running became like a more central focus in my life with, also lifting weights and, doing all that stuff. And, I started doing little 5Ks and 10Ks. And then I was like, at one point I'm like, oh, I'm going to train for a marathon. And I tried to train for a marathon. I think I got up to like 18 miles and then I got an overuse injury. And then that didn't happen. But like, I just kept charging forward. And that's pretty much the origin story of me running, which was, 20 something years ago. So I've been running for a long time. I wish I had like a really good record of how many miles, like Camille, she has like her 100,000 mile, like where she's kept track of everything. And I don't have that, but on Strava, I have 55,000 miles. So I've only had Strava for, I don't know, 10 or 11 years. So I wonder how many miles I have, but it's probably a fair amount.
That's insane. I can barely run. I've never even reached like 2,000 miles a year. And like even that, I'm like, wow, the people who do, I just have so much respect for, because that takes the discipline, that takes like planning, it takes being smart and cross training and not getting injured. So I just haven't nailed that yet.
2,000 miles is amazing. I remember when I hit my first 1,000 miles, I was like super impressed, it's 2,000
It's
a
lot of work.
It's really impressive. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too bad for only running 2,000 miles.
I've been trying to do like as a motivation factor. There's I don't know if it's a club or like what they are, but they run the year. So whatever the year is, you try to hit that in miles. So it's just it keeps you motivated, kind of tries to get you in the habit of moving. It equates to something like 5-ish miles a day, and you could obviously switch it up however you need to. And I could just never get there by the end of the year. Like I would either be too tired or something would hurt, and so I'd have to give up on it. But I mean, one of these days I'll get there. But I have built myself a good habit, which is at least a good start.
You have a good base, so it's like you can do whatever you want from that base. I mean, the hardest part about any of those like year-long goals or anything like that is always injuries, or getting sick, or just life gets in the way, So
definitely.
I think that's always the challenge when it comes to when you set like a year-long goal is like, yeah, you feel good in the beginning, but then like in March when you get, you hurt yourself or, and it's not always an overuse injury. I mean, I've tripped and fall and hurt myself, there's 1,000 ways to hurt yourself that will make it very challenging to continue to run.
Like you mentioned, even just getting the flu and it puts you out for like a solid week. Like, it's hard to come back from that.
It is 2 weeks of being on your back, like with a fever and, all that stuff is it's hard on a streak. So,
well, you have a pretty impressive streak right now. And I don't think it's your only streak. I think you've tried this before where you run 100+ miles a week. And right now you're over 4 years worth. But when did this streak start? And I know it started before, like you attempted this one other time, right?
Yeah, I did it. I mean, it's not really, I did it in 2018 for 28 weeks. And then Badwater took me out. Like I had a really bad experience at Badwater and the streak ended. But now I'm actually at 224. I just finished my 224th week, which is
excellent.
I think we're at 4.25 years now, or like over 4.25.
It's very impressive.
You got me on April Fool's Day, by the way.
Yeah, good. Well,
yeah, you got me.
If you follow me long enough, I do
for
that
a second.
I do that every April Fool's joke. I mean, every year, and it like always gets people. But someday it'll be real. Someday that'll be a real video.
I was doing my homework today, and I came across the video today, and I go, "Oh wait, the streak ended."
Yeah.
And then I read the caption, and I'm like,
Psych.
Yeah. I know. I still have people coming up to me and being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry your streak ended," and I'm like, "Oh, that was April Fool's, dude. We're in July now. It's still going on." But I don't expect people to like follow me, like stalk me, and know I make a video almost every day. So the amount of content I put out, I can't expect everybody to see every single thing I do. But it's still going on. I mean, it started kind of because of COVID. There was nothing going on, and I needed something to challenge myself. And I like running 100 miles in a week. I find that it's pretty challenging. So, it's getting more and more challenging as I get older. And then also just 4 years of doing it is it's a really long time.
Well, you're always doing all these like really difficult races too. So one of those races a week, like that'll at least give you some recovery time on the other end.
It makes it so much harder to like when COVID was going on, it was like I didn't have anything else to do. You know, I could just run. Like I think during COVID times, I ran over 8,000 miles both those years.
Wow.
Because there was just, you know, I could just run. And then, you know, once COVID ended, then the races came back. And then it was like, I think I'm more down to like 7,000 miles a year because it's just a lot harder to maintain tapering, recovery, and doing like, you know, a bunch of really challenging ultras.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself healthy because you want to keep going.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there has to be a little bit of recovery and then also a little bit of tapering. So, yeah.
What are some of the bigger challenges you've had, like to keep the streak alive? What has attempted to get in the way from time to time?
I mean, I've had a lot of situations. Like we had a huge fire in Southern California a couple years ago that like made the air quality really, really bad for several weeks. And at the time I was doing 200-mile weeks. So, because in between this 100-mile a week streak, I did 18 200+ mile weeks. So, so I was running 200 miles a week and the air quality was really bad, which is probably really unhealthy for me, but I did it anyways. That was pretty challenging. I've had a lot of injuries, a lot of nothing like no overuse injuries, but a lot of trauma related injuries, falls. I had a wall fall on me at work during a fire.
Oh, wow.
And I hurt my ankle pretty bad. Ended up having like this like swollen ankle, and then it started like weeping, and I got like cellulitis in my ankle, and I somehow was able to keep running. I've torn both my hamstrings multiple times. I'm extremely inflexible. And so if I fall sometimes, like my hamstrings just tear. So I've had that happen multiple times. I've fell and broke a couple ribs at one point. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever broken a rib, but it's really uncomfortable to run when you can't take deep breaths. And, I mean, I've gotten really sick. Definitely a couple times. I don't get sick a lot, but I came back from Europe. I raced in Europe and came back, and I probably got some weird COVID variety I never tested myself, but it was definitely like a really, really bad sickness, after being in Europe for like couple weeks, you know? So, the sickness I think is the hardest. Like injuries, like as long as I know they're not too bad, I can work through them, but sicknesses are hard because you just have no energy at all.
So what drives you then when you're super tired and you're sick or something? What's driving you to get 100 again that week?
What drives me is obviously I have like, you know, some sort of intense fire inside that burns all the time. It needs to be like, you know, extinguished. And the only way I know how to extinguish it is through running. Even when I'm sick, I still want to run. I just don't have like the energy, but I still want to like move.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be like a fast run. You're still getting out there and doing something. Yeah.
I mean, when I feel terrible, that's like my favorite time to run. And even though I'm out there and I have a terrible run, like I enjoy that experience the most. Like I don't, you know, everyone's like, oh, I haven't recovered. I don't feel good. I like, you know, everyone loves that. Like when they run and they feel really good, but like, I like it when I run and I feel terrible the whole time and I have to keep pushing through. You know, so when I'm sick, which I think has probably only happened like 3 times in the last 4 years, yeah, it's been really challenging. And then that makes it kind of cool, you know, to like be so challenged that like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I like that feeling. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, you know, that's a cooler experience for me than like, you know, knowing that I'm going to, you know, get it. So
yeah,
I always tell people, I'm always trying to like train where I'm at like mile 80. And if you run a 100-mile race, you know what mile 80 feels like. It feels fucking terrible. So, and you need to like, everyone's like, well, how do you train for a 100-mile race? And it's like, well, you got to train at those times when like you're tired and you're sleepy and you're so sore, you feel like you can't move your legs. because that's what you're going to experience towards the end of the race. And if you don't know how to move your body in those times, like you're not going to be successful, or you're going to feel like you want to quit. So I get a lot of mile 80 training
for once. I can totally relate for once. I understand the pure exhaustion and the tiredness and just the need to do it, the need to finish.
And there's no way to like, you can't like run a 100-mile race to train for a 100-mile race. So the only way you can really like train for those moments is to like train when you're really, really tired or, sore, or, I mean, there's ways to emulate it, like run 20 miles and then the next day run 20 miles and the next day run 20 miles. Like I guarantee you your third 20 miler is going to hurt on a level that you're not used to. Or, I mean, there's ways to emulate it, but it's still mile 80 just has its own vibe.
I like that. I know Erica wants to hear about some of your races, some of your stories and the memorable ones, and she has a few in mind. But before we get there, I want to ask one other thing about all the running you do. And you mentioned mental health, and you also mentioned your line of work. And you said before that running has kind of saved your life and it helps with PTSD from your lifestyle and work. So elaborate on that a little bit with running and mental health.
Sure. I'm a firefighter and I'm a paramedic. So probably more on the paramedic side of my job is like, you see a lot of like pretty terrible things. And a lot of us have like pretty significant, PTSD from what we've seen in our careers. And I've experimented with a lot of different ways to like deal with that, because it can be quite debilitating when you have like PTSD flare-ups or like, I would call it a flare-up, but, and I've found that like running is like one of the best things I can do to like sort of quiet my mind, especially like in ultras. I get to a point in an ultra where like my brain kind of clicks off, and I stop like really thinking about everything. I really am only thinking about like what I need to do to stay alive, like eating, drinking, that sort of stuff. I'm not thinking about all the other stuff in my world, and I find that very soothing. And then, obviously when you run, it releases a bunch of endorphins and things that make you feel better. So I found over the years, that this is like a really like beneficial thing for my mental health. And then, talking to other first responders and encouraging them to exercise and whatnot, they have found similar things. So it's something I sort of preach, and it's something I try to like, push. I have obviously I have a lot of people following me on social media, and a good amount of those people are firefighters who, either follow me because they like to see me grind or, whatever the reason. But I definitely, I push the mental health side of it quite a bit, just because, suicide is one of the number one killers of firefighters right now. And I wish we could find something to like, fix it. It's a delicate topic, and it's, I don't think there's a bandage that fixes everybody, but I think if we can get more people moving, that, movement tends to be medicine, and hopefully we can, get people, in a good direction. I think, the young generation doesn't see it yet, because PTSD kind of stacks on top of it itself. So in the beginning, when you're new in your career, everything's exciting, and you don't realize that in 10 years of seeing, dead babies and, people's heads cut off and stuff like that like it adds up in your soul.
That's got to take a toll. I can only imagine.
But when you're young in your career, you don't get it. And so, but if I can get the young guys to like be moving and like, finding a good way to cope outside of drugs and alcohol, which I think a lot of firefighters tend to, really first responders, not just firefighters, cops, police, military, whatever, they tend, alcohol is a really easy, drugs and alcohol are an easy way to like deal with it, but it's, obviously it's not a great fix. It's more of like a temporary bandage, and all the pain and everything is still right underneath the surface. So, I preach a little bit, but I definitely am just trying to help people like deal with the pain. But I don't think that there's like a one size fits all. And, I think there's a lot of puzzle pieces, and you got to do a little bit of everything. So that's my like soapbox that I talk about a lot on social media, is just trying to help people with that.
You're very involved with your line of work and everyone, and trying to help get them at the firehouse or wherever. I don't know if you do talks, but you're like really focused on the younger generation coming up, firefighters and EMTs, and you get involved in their lives and try to help them mentally, physically be prepared and be ready for this stuff.
Yeah, well, I was a captain. I just promoted. I'm now a battalion chief, but before that, I was a captain, so I was in charge of a crew, and I definitely trained a lot of new hires coming into our department. So, I was able to influence a lot of the brand new guys coming into our department for several years. So, yeah, and it's funny because what do young guys look at? They look at social media, and then I have this huge following. So it's, everyone's always like, if anyone mentions Laverne Fire, they're always like, do you know Andy Glaze? And it's like, I work for a very small department. So of course everybody knows me at my department because there's only a handful of us. So yeah, it's funny.
Well, I think it's really awesome what you're doing. Just giving it another option, that drugs and alcohol don't have to be what you turn to if you're struggling with something mentally, and there's just other ways to deal with it. So I love that you are trying to put that out there and trying to normalize taking care of your mental health. I like that.
I mean, I'm not like, everyone should be sober or anything like that. I just,
no. But you're just, it's nice to have another option.
Yeah.
That was great. Thanks for talking about that too. Let's get into the storytelling portion of this podcast and some of these amazing ultras you've done. We want to hear some of your, not necessarily your favorite races or your worst, but just some of the more memorable moments. And memorable can be good and bad. I know Erica has a few. We know about, we're so into Badwater every time it happens, and we know other people who've run it, and we watch the documentaries. But tell us some of your memorable ultra marathons that you have in mind.
I think in 2016, I flew out to China and did a really fun race out there. It's probably my most memorable is it was actually Chris Kosman, who's the race director from Badwater, was trying to start a race out there. So a bunch of us Badwater people flew out to China, and it was western China. So Erica disappeared. Is that all right?
She'll jump back on. Okay.
So southwestern China, which is kind of like the foothills of the Himalayas. Mm-hmm. And it took 30 something hours to get out there. I mean, I had to fly. I had to land in 3 or 4 regional Chinese airports. It was very, very remote. And there was only I think 50 people that ran it. But basically China was trying to get people to go to this region of China because it's kind of like their Yosemite. So it's like a volcanic area, and they have hot springs and all this stuff. So they were trying to encourage tourism in this area, and they're like, oh, we'll sponsor this race. So we start off, and we stayed in China for a week, touring, going to the hot springs, going to ancient ginkgo biloban forests. And, it's where all the jade comes from. So we went to jade markets, and it was just really cool. And when we started the race, it was starting the LA Marathon. They had fireworks going off, and there's just 50 of us. But yeah, I got to run through rural China on the old Silk Road, which was it's a 10,000-year-old road that they used to go from China to India to get silk and spices. And there was parts of the race where you were actually running on that road. We went through these giant bamboo forests, and we were literally running in the foothills of the Himalayas. So that was kind of cool too. The foothill of the Himalayas 9,000 feet, because the Himalayas are so big. And we had to wear a bear bell the entire time to scare the bears away, which was, so the whole time I'm running, I have to hear this jingle, 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 which was so, I mean, it made me insane. But
how many hours did you have to listen to the jingle?
I think it took me 27 hours to finish it. I think I got 5th place, and I think it had 20 get like 26,000 feet of climbing or something. It was a pretty rugged race as far as how many ups and downs we had to do. But we also at like one point, I came out of the forest and I got to this aid station and they started sprinkling all this red powder all over my legs. And I'm like, what's going on? And then someone like translated basically said like, this is so the snakes don't bite you. And I was like, well, this is fun. And then they send us out into the darkness, like, so I had a bear bell. I got snake powder on my legs. It was pretty cool. But like all the aid stations were like the village elder put them together. So like you'd come into the aid station and like everyone would want you to hold their baby and like take pictures. Cause I think they'd probably never seen anybody from the West before. Cause this is like really remote, like farming villages in China. They didn't have electricity or anything like that. So, they were still, it's like tier to agriculture where they're using, giant ox to plow the fields and whatnot. But that's probably one of my more memorable races just because the whole experience was pretty wild.
At what point did social media come into play for you? Because you're very active, like we talked about on social media. So this was 2016.
Right.
Were you documenting this stuff then, or when did that come in?
I documented it. It wasn't huge, like more pictures. Like video wasn't like such a big thing in 2016. And even if you did videotape it, like the quality was pretty low,
Which is amazing because in 2016 it was like the best, and now it's 2024. It's so you watch something from back then, you're like, wow, that's vintage.
Yeah. I think I've been big in social media for, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
The way I remember was definitely Erica found you and you're doing all these 100-milers during COVID, 100-mile weeks, right? That's around the time I remember finding you. And I was doing a little different. Erica was getting into the ultra marathon. She started with some 50-milers here locally in New England. And then she kind of stretched across. At the time, I was into all the triathlons and the Ironmans. So I was like looking up all the Ironman content. She's doing all the ultra stuff and sending me all these videos of you. And then just watching you kind of explode and take off was a lot of fun. And the fact you do it consistently, you post a video every day and that just like that it just slowly keeps growing the consistency. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah. I've always been on social media and I love like photography and like I like making videos and I used to make them back in the day, but there just wasn't like I always had a GoPro and I have some like videos on YouTube from like way back in the day when I was first starting that I made they're edited terribly, and they're like, it's just GoPro footage. But like with Reels and TikTok, it gave me like an ability to, I don't know, edit videos easier and like put them up easier. And, I was an early adopter on Reels, like where everyone was like, oh, Reels are cringe. You're cringe for making, I literally had people like delete me and be like, I hate what you're doing. I hate that you're making these videos, which, whatever.
The haters.
Yeah. I had early haters that people will probably follow me just taking pictures and stuff. So I was an early adopter. So like when it comes to like running content and especially ultra content, like I was probably like one of the first people to like be like, maybe Sage Canaday and me were like the only ones really making things back in the day. And Sage was more of a YouTube guy. So I think I just kind of got lucky that I threaded the needle like right when it was getting big. And now I have like, a larger following. So I maybe it's easier. I don't know. Maybe it's harder. I'm not sure. But like it's definitely been a journey because, I never thought I'm an old guy, I'm like not like a young kid. So I never thought that like my videos would be like getting like so many views. This month alone, I have on Instagram, 22 million views, just on Instagram. And that doesn't include TikTok and YouTube and all the, other stuff. Like, it's insane to think that, 22 million people watch my videos every month.
When you stick with it and post it daily and you're consistent, I get it. I see that. Erica is back.
You're back.
You guys.
Word on the street is a big thunderstorm rolled through and you lost power. She's in the dark. You look like the girl from the Blair Witch Project right now. Half your face is on the screen, and
I'm using a lantern, you guys. Like,
That's funny.
I can't help it. I'm like, we never lose power. I'm in a very like populated part of New Hampshire, and I didn't even hear any thunder. And then all of a sudden I see a flash of lightning and the power goes out. I'm like, what is this? So I apologize for the kind of janky way that I'm doing this now, but hopefully it stays connected.
That's funny.
Storm didn't know we had Andy Glaze on the pod.
Apparently not. Like it's really kind of sketchy right now. So I'm sorry of the stuff I missed,
man.
but I'll let you continue and I'll try to pick up where we left off.
Well, one of the other races you've done, you mentioned before, I think you DNF'd this race. You've DNF'd a few during your time and because you've done so many, but one you documented well, that at least I remember, is Badwater. And we really love the Badwater race, the 135. Tell us about your Badwater experience. And that is the video of your legs cramping, right?
Yeah.
Looks so painful.
Yeah, so I mean, getting into Badwater is obviously pretty hard. Like, they have like this panel and you have to like, write all these essays and everything. And then they judge you and like, it's a challenge to get in. So obviously if you're going to apply, you have to like put a lot of energy and effort into it. I had raced, I've raced Badwater Cape Fear multiple times. I've done Salton Sea multiple times. And then I did that one out in China, Badwater China race. And so, I tried to get in and then I got rejected. And I was like, what's going on? Like, how do I have like a pretty impressive resume and then like all this stuff. So I ended up going out and like volunteering with a guy and did his, like, I was his crew chief and helped him out. So I got to experience the race. And I would encourage somebody, if like you want to race Badwater, like Chris, the race director, really likes you to like be on a crew first before he'll let you in a lot of times. And it's a really good experience because you'll get to pace your runner. So you'll get to actually run in those conditions and then just like watching what they need to like take care of them. So, and it'll give you a better understanding of what you need to do. So I went into Badwater thinking I knew what I needed to do. I live in a hot area. I live in like a desert. A lot of times during the summer, like last week it was 108, 110. So I'm used to running in pretty hot weather. And so I thought I knew what I needed to do. But I was wrong. So, I mean, basically what happened is I didn't take enough electrolytes. I thought I was taking enough in and I wasn't. And my body started cramping and I couldn't like catch back up. I tried, the best part about all those videos when I post like my legs cramping at Badwater or whatever is, everyone gives me their advice on what I should have done. And I mean, I legitimately tried everything from mustard packets to pickle juice to, electrolyte powders and this and that. And I was just like so far beyond the curve that I couldn't bounce back. So, and that will go down and I'll say this in preface that I've had kidney stones twice. The Badwater experience was the most painful experience in my life. Like,
oh no,
2 solid hours of my entire body cramping, like, when you like wake up in the middle of the night, you got like a calf cramp and you're like, can't get it out. My entire body was that for 2 hours. So when it finally stopped cramping, because I did get enough electrolytes on, I was toast and I hadn't peed and there's just a lot of things going on. And I just decided I wasn't going to risk, my kidneys or my health. And I needed to like, not continue on. So, I DNF that it's a terrible race to DNF because it's like, you probably spent $5,000 to do everything, to get everything out there. And, so it's very expensive, plus all the training and everything. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
And it ended my streak. So there's a lot of like, sadness when that race didn't like work out. But, you know, in all failure, you have a lot of important lessons. And, you know, since then I've gotten a lot better at running in hot races and handling my electrolytes better. So
You didn't have to be hospitalized after that one, did you?
no, I literally drank fluids the entire way home.
Mhm.
And when I got home, I peed, and my pee was not brown. So I was okay.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I'm a paramedic, so I know what I should be looking for. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, it wasn't like, so it wasn't that I wasn't taking in enough liquid. It was that like electrolytes are very delicate in the body. And like, so I was actually like retaining liquid. So I wasn't like dehydrated, but
Mhm.
I didn't have enough electrolytes to like make me want to pee. So until I got my electrolytes back into order, like my body was just like holding on to all those fluids. Whereas like rhabdo, which I'm sure people have heard about, is basically like severe dehydration, where the kidneys start to like break down and you start actually like peeing out your kidneys, which I've never had before, but I'm quite familiar with it because several guys at work have had it. And then being a paramedic, you run into people that have had it before. So
That's some scary stuff. Isn't it like when your muscles break down too and your body tries to process it and it just throws your whole system off too?
I mean, it's technically your kidneys that are breaking down. You're like peeing out, you know,
Okay.
parts of your kidneys. Yeah, and then that's why it's like brown.
That's crazy.
And then, yeah, the only solution to that is basically go to the ER and they give you ridiculous amounts of IV fluid for days and days and days to like sort of flush you out. So, and then
Gotcha.
once you have it once, you're more susceptible to it like for the rest of your life. So, but yeah, I didn't get that, but I was definitely like, I knew I was in a bad spot. So one thing about me is I'm not a death before DNF type guy. Like if something's wrong and I know it's wrong, I will pull the plug. Like I've DNF'd a lot of races and I've also finished a lot of races, but if something's wrong and I know it's wrong, like I don't have an ego where I have to like, you know, continue on just to prove to people that I
Right.
can finish. Like, you know,
Well, that's smart. You want to have the longevity.
yeah. It's like, I just don't care. Like if I fail or succeed, I mean, I'm always trying to succeed, but like, you know, I think that, you know, a good failure here and there is always good for the soul a little
It's
bit.
a good learning lesson sometimes too. You learn things like maybe nutrition wise. I was going to ask you for fueling. You mentioned you're vegan. Talk about fueling for these races. How have you found like DNFs? You learn lessons about what you need to do, hydrating or getting food in your belly.
I haven't had two. I've had one DNF due to food. Normally, like I do pretty well with like taking in food. I have like the ability to eat pretty solid foods all the time. So, you know, I trained my stomach to be able to eat solid food while I ran. And that's been very beneficial to me in the ultra running community. You know, one time I ate dark chocolate and it did not agree with me. And I just like started puking and I just like, it turned into just a thing where, again, I was like getting my electrolytes out of balance because I was vomiting and then I couldn't take in any more fuel and I couldn't take water in. It was a hot race. And I just decided like, I didn't want to continue on and like risk anything because, you know, if you can't take in water or food in a 100-mile race, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience to like try to continue on.
No.
You know, no fuel, no go. So, yeah, that's really the only time. And I now stick away from dark chocolate if during races, but, not too many food issues, but you know, being vegan is pretty challenging just because your options are a lot more limited, but maybe that's a good thing. Like, you know, because like you don't have the smorgasbord of like things you can eat, you know?
Yeah. Probably a lot of planning you have to do when you're traveling all these places with the food too, because of the limits of food you don't eat or that you can eat.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I raced in France a lot and in Europe and there's not a lot of obviously vegan options, but like I found like as long as I'm giving myself fuel, like I can pretty much run forever. So it's like in France, for a couple years, I've just run and eaten just bread and drank Coke. And I've run, 100 miles just eating bread and drinking Coke because that's all they had that I could eat.
And that's enough for you. Okay.
And it's like, yeah, it's not like super glamorous or, you just know like, well, bread's carbohydrates and like Coke is carbohydrates. There's a little caffeine in there. And, as long as I keep giving my body carbohydrates, like I can keep going. So, it's not as glorious as eating Spring Energy or, drinking Tailwind or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all the same, so.
Does the trick. Yeah.
And if your stomach can handle it, then, in Texas, not a lot of vegan options. I think I ran 100 miles eating pretzels once. I run in Wyoming this last race, and the only things they had were like peanuts and dried apricots. So I had my own food, luckily in Wyoming, but at the aid stations, the only things I could really eat were peanuts and apricots. And I was just like, well, that's what I'm going to need. That's what I'm going to do. So,
you do what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just,
True.
I get through it.
So Erica, now that you're back, and FYI, I can hear the storms now rolling through my neighborhood. I'm about 20 miles north of her, but now that you're back,
Are
I
they
know
coming up your way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you had a couple maybe races in mind. He mentioned France and running in those mountains up there. You're the big ultra runner out of the two of us here, Erica. What do you want to know from Andy Glaze?
Oh man, I'm so bummed that I missed out on this, but that this makes me happy that I at least get to re-listen to it later and it'll be like brand new. But I am just curious. Did you even talk about how you started getting into these big ultras? Let's start off there.
No, I just told him you missed a story about racing in China. That's all you missed.
Okay.
So,
It's a good one. You'll
okay.
enjoy it. But yeah, how do you get into it?
Okay, good.
I mean,
Like that's a big jump if you're starting from like marathons and stuff, but you had to make the jump into the ultra world at some point, and that you did.
Yeah. So, I've done a lot of like just endurance exercise in general in these 20 years of running. Did a lot of triathlons. And then at some point I started getting into like the obstacle course racing, like Tough Mudders, because in the fire service, we do a lot of like, these exercises where we put all our gear on and we do like circuit workouts where it's like, we'll pull a hose and then we'll throw a ladder and then we put like hose up on our shoulders and run up and down stairs and do all these things back to back. We'll sledgehammer something. And, so I like the idea of like a Tough Mudder because like you run and then you do something like, that requires dexterity and strength, right? Like monkey bars or doing something, interesting. So I got really into those, and did a ton of them. I don't know, like 60 of them or something like that. And somewhere in the middle of that, they started doing these 24-hour Tough Mudders. And so I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to be going 24 hours, I'm going to be going like a lot further than that. And at the same time, like I met this guy at my local running store who had told me this story about how he had run a marathon in reverse, got to the start line and then ran the marathon. And I was like, well, that's 52 miles. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't understand. Like at this point in my life had never heard of ultra running. I didn't know that was a thing. It was kind of like, I learned about ultra running and then at the same time they were doing this 24 hours Tough Mudder. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll try to run one of these ultras to see what it's like to run further than a marathon. And so I signed up for like a local 50K to get ready for this Tough Mudder and I ran it and it was a terrible experience. I think I got almost dead fucking last, but I think that one person might've been after me. I don't know. It was a really brutal experience. And, that was my introduction to ultra running. And then I kept doing the Tough Mudders, but then I I kept dipping my toe in the ultra like world. I was like, well, so I think my first 50K, I wish it's not even on ultra sign up because it was such a little local 50K and I don't know if ultra sign up was big back then, but I think it took me like 9 hours or like maybe 9 hours and 30 minutes. Something crazy. It was up in it was at 7,000 feet and it was up in the mountains and obviously a lot of vert and everything, but still 9 hours. So then I was like, I signed up for another one and then I got like 6 hours and 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a huge improvement. And just started, and plus you're running in all these really cool spots. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like I can run in all these like beautiful trails. And I just ended up liking ultra running more than I liked the obstacle course racing. And so I eventually just sort of transitioned and just started doing more ultras and less obstacle course racing until the point where it's like, now it's all ultras, no obstacle racing. And yeah, I've been doing ultras now for like, I don't know, 10 years or maybe longer. So yeah, that was sort of the start of the ultras. And then obviously I'm still in them. So
I've been following along whenever you will post your videos. And I think it's super cool that you do that. Like, I feel like a part of it almost. Like I'm living vicariously through you. But one of the ones that I am intrigued in is Cocodona. There's Cocodona 250. And I know you've done that a few times now. Do you do it 4 actually? More than a few?
This year he did the Cocodona monster something you called it.
No, that's next year. That's next year.
Oh, next year.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done Cocodona all 4 years. They've had it 4 years. There's 6 of us left that have done it all 4 years. We're like a little like group of people that we're all friends and like we all go out there and suffer every year together. And next year I'm doing the Arizona Monster 300 and then like 2 weeks later doing the Cocodona 250. So
wow.
I'm calling it the Coco Monster 550. That'll be
that it is.
That'll be my big thing going on next year. But yeah, Cocodona is it's amazing. Obviously I keep going back. So there's something pretty special about it. It's an adventure. It's not, I mean, it's a race, but it's quite the adventure. Just, I mean, the distance alone, but then also you're going on some trails that are pretty treacherous and like technical. So there's like some sections that are just kind of like unrunnable. So you just kind of have to like grind into them. There's a lot of runnable sections too, but it's just a long adventure. You start, in the deserts like near Phoenix and you end up in Flagstaff, which is like 7,000 feet. So it's kind of like you're running, almost like it feels like you're running uphill the entire time. Obviously, there's a lot of up and down, but at the end of the day, there's more up. And then at like mile 240, you have to climb like a 9,000 foot mountain.
Not a big deal. Wow.
Yeah, it puts some hair on your chest for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a really hard race. There's no like lots of people have tried it, a lot of really talented runners, and everyone will pretty much tell you that it's gonna take a lot of soul searching to get that thing done, which I love. I always start off strong and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then like, I fall apart at some point. I do it. I'm the only one that's done it solo and unsupported all 4 years. And, that works out for like maybe the first 3 days, but like on day 4, when you've been out there by yourself for that long, like you really start to maybe lose it a little bit. And sometimes it's hard to like maintain.
How much sleep do you get during this entire race? Do you ever take little naps?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, every year I've done it differently. I've been trying to like figure out what the like sweet spot for me is. And I can't figure it out. I mean, yeah, I wish I could tell you that there's like, people say you need to sleep within the first 24 hours. There's all these like rules and, that certain people do. I don't know what the answer is, quite honestly. This year I did it the fastest I've ever done it, but I fell apart on day 4 and I should have finished probably like 6 hours faster, but I ended up getting hypothermia and ended up spending some time in a medical tent to try to like keep myself back up. So, but I think I went 51 hours with no sleep, like straight 51 hours. And I took a 30-minute nap. And then after that, I just took like a series of like 10-minute naps until I got hypothermia. And then I think I slept like 2 hours and then made it the rest of the way. And it took me, I think 103 hours. So maybe like 3.5, 4 hours total sleep over 4 days.
That is rough.
Impressive.
That is so
Oh
rough.
my God. I don't,
It was pretty
I mean, at
rough.
that
Yeah.
point, at that point, we have this one friend and she hallucinated during a race and I think it was a 72-hour race. She walked up to a rock and thought it was a fox. Like that's when you just start seeing things. But it's impressive, dude. I can't say I've ever been at either of your levels. Like Erica, you for what you just did the other day, Andy for all the stuff you do. It's impressive. It's fun to watch. And I really thank you for like documenting all of it and putting it on social media. It's a blast.
Well, I hope it's entertaining. I mean, for me, I kind of like the idea that I'll be able to like, when I'm older, look back at all this and I used to write these really detailed race reports and I stopped doing that. And I just realized like, well, now I'm vlogging. So it's like, I don't need to like write a race report because everything's in video, which is, I think, kind of cool too. It's definitely cool for my kids because my kids can like watch the video and see what I go through. And, on Instagram, I have to do these little 1-minute videos. So it's like, come run 250 miles with me. And it's literally a 1-minute video. But like on TikTok, I can do really long videos and they're like, they do really, really well on TikTok. Like I'll have like a 10-minute video that'll get, 5 million views or something like that. So there's a lot of people on TikTok that enjoy my long format content where they can like really watch the whole thing. So
see, now I'm going to have to watch your TikToks because I'm
feel
just
like I
more
am
on the
too.
Instagram reels. We have a friend of the pod. Her name's Tara Pterodactyl. I send Tara Pterodactyl her videos to post on our own TikTok. She kind of manages that. Now I'm going to have to like log into the TikTok and check out your longer videos.
On my TikTok, if there's like you can have like categories, and I have one that's called "Come Run 100 Miles with Me," and it has all my videos, and so you don't have to scroll through all the other bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, there's I normally do a 1-minute one, and then I do like the long format one, which is normally 6 to 10 minutes long, and it'll be like everything. But yeah, that people really enjoy watching me, suffer and, have all these horrible things happen to me, and then I keep going. So
I'm actually really excited now. I'm really excited that you told me this. You got these like 10-minute videos because a big thing I was into a few years ago is Casey Neistat and his daily vlogs. They're always 8 to 12 minutes, the perfect length of a video to watch and get the quick story. So now I am going to log on to the channel tonight once this thunderstorm passes through and the kids go to bed.
Right.
And I'm going to be like, not scrolling, but watching these videos. I'm excited now.
No, I was just saying they exist. There's a lot of videos. So that and my feet videos are the really successful ones.
Oh, we could do a whole episode on only feet. You and Erica could talk for hours. In fact, I know she has that question, but I want to hit with my final question. I am building a list called the Code Brown Commandments. And a Code Brown, yes, it could be any shitty moment where you crap yourself, but it's really any oh crap moment, like running into an alligator on the course. Or
right.
I always said a bear. And so we're creating these Code Brown commandments, which is like running advice for someone to avoid a Code Brown, to avoid any oh crap moment. Some examples like my own Code Brown commandment is diaper rash cream, because I have babies, cures chafing overnight. You just lather that diaper rash cream on nice and thick, and then you're good to go the next day. So what is a Code Brown commandment you could add to us? We're going to create this list. It's going to be like, thou shall not leave a trace. That's another one a guy picked.
Right. I mean, my number one, I'd say two. One, like I always bring wet wipes. That's probably a given. Mm-hmm. But I like to take lube and put it in a plastic bag. And then when I need to apply it to my 3D parts, I just flip the bag inside out, put my hand in it, and then you can just get down there after you shit, or just maybe you're starting to chafe, and you can recoat yourself and not worry about getting any nastiness on your hand. And then
That's
you just
great.
flip the bag back inside out, seal it, and then it's ready to be thrown out when you get to the next aid station.
That's genius. Holy shit.
And it, doesn't weigh anything,
Yeah.
So if you buy lube in bulk, you just, squeeze some in, and then, it's like having a glove. And I used to run with gloves, and I would put it all over my glove and then get in there. But, this is actually a better method.
I like that. Add that to the list, Erica.
That is so smart. That is wicked smart. Yeah, I might actually start using that myself. It would have been nice to know just this last weekend, but
A lot of people do.
that's so smart.
I need to remake that. I've made that video a few times, and it's always pretty successful. So I need to. It's always funny when I throw out these little tips and tricks, and then I see people using them at ultras, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's my trick. But it's good.
I'll clip this for you, and I'll play it when your episode drops, and you can be like, oh, there it is. Let's do it. Let's
Perfect.
drop this.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Oh man, I'm so bummed that my internet is not working correctly and that I lost you guys for a while, because I wanted to talk about your awesome sense of style with your jorts. I wanted to talk about like UTMB. There's just so much we didn't get to talk. Well, I didn't get to talk about at least. But if we're going into some of our final questions, we have a Spotify playlist, and we like to invite our guests to add a song to it. So it could be anything that you're feeling at the moment, anything that pumps you up. I don't even know if you run with music. You say you raw dog a lot of stuff, so you might not even run with music. But is there anything you'd like to add to our list?
Let's see. Do you have Young the Giant? I think the song's called My Body.
We do
Great
not.
song, and that is not on the list. That's a
perfect.
great song.
Yeah, add that one. I love to listen to that when I'm like at mile 99.
Pumps you up. The last
great
little bit,
song.
you're almost there.
One more. I lied. I got one more for you. And I'm going to piss Eric off that I'm asking one more final
No,
question.
go ahead.
I just got an ice bath. I set it up for the first time this week. I see, and it's super hot here. It's like 95 degrees. So even when I throw a bag in and everything, I don't have that like cold ice bath yet. But what's your advice for a first timer like me? I see you do these ice baths all the time. How do you build up? What would you give advice to someone like me jumping in for the first time?
I mean, it's going to get easier, but it's always going to be hard. I think the big thing is you just got to like really learn how to like control your breathing. Because like when you get into really cold water, your body goes into shock. So you immediately start to hyperventilate. So you really need to focus on slowing your breathing down and just focusing on that. There's all these, Wim Hof and all. I've never really studied any of that. For me, I just do like a deep inhale and then like a secondary inhale and then a long exhale, which is kind of it's a method to like reduce stress and anxiety. And I just do that on repeat. And, that mixed with like some music sometimes, like if you find like a song, say you want to stay in for 2 minutes, find a 2-minute song and play it, and then just listen to the music and know that when the song's over, you can get out. Psychologically, that can like help you out a lot too.
Yeah.
Or, if you only want to stay in for like a minute, then find a song and fast forward it to when there's just a minute left and hit play. And then, when like the song's over, you can get out. But, as time goes by, I used to be all heroic and do like 7 to 10 minutes at a time. But ever since I got a sauna and I go back and forth, I don't do more than like 3 minutes.
I actually got the sauna
and
too.
I get like, I get a lot of reward from that. So I've just kind of stuck with it, and 2 to 3 minutes, I feel like you're going to get what you need to get out of it.
So I got the sauna too. So you go back and forth.
Yeah, that's really beneficial if you can do that. In fact, there's a Huberman podcast on hot and cold protocols. If you Google it, and it's a good one to listen to on the cold and hot, combining them. But yeah, I'll do like 15 to 20 minutes in the sauna, and then I'll jump in the cold plunge for like 3 minutes, then go back in the sauna, and then go back in the cold plunge. It's the the high you get off of that is way better than the high you get from just cold plunging.
All right.
It's pretty
I'm going to
amazing.
do it.
Yeah, you
I'm
get so
doing it.
uncomfortable in that sauna. You're like, oh my God, I just want to get out. And then you get in the cold plunge and you're like, holy shit, I just want to get back in that sauna. And it's just like this really weird, rush that you get as you go in and out of each one.
Nice.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to document it. I'm going to take a video. I'm going to send it to you when it happens. It'll probably be before
All right.
this drops, but I got to get it cold. Like right now, it's still warm. I seriously
Bags
did it
of
2
ice,
days ago.
man.
I built this
Bags
thing.
of
My
ice.
3-year-old just wanted to jump in.
Yeah.
We're going to get it cold. And once this heat wave passes through, I think it'll be easier to keep cold.
I think what you got to do, I mean, I did the ice for a long time because I wasn't sure that I was like into it. And eventually I just had to buy a chiller. I mean, it's like, you just have to like, if it's something that you think that you're going to continue to do for a long period of time, then the chiller is the way to go. And what you can do is if you go on Alibaba or like one of those like Chinese sites, you can find like those inflatable cold plunges with chillers for a lot cheaper than the ones that you'd buy in America. And I know quite a few friends that have done that way. So, it's coming from China, but like all the like big companies that do it in America are buying it from the same site. They're just having the Chinese people put their logo on it, and then they're buying like 100 of them.
Yeah.
So, you can save like $3,000-$4,000 just by doing it that way. Or like that company, The Plunge, they sell like refurbished ones that are a lot cheaper than if you buy like the brand new ones. So I have a Plunge and I freaking love it. I think it's like the best one, but I like those inflatable ones too.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. We just got it, just set it up. I'm pretty excited. I'm nervous at the same time.
Nice.
It's all this nervous and fun energy. Andy, thank you so much for coming on the pod. I know we could talk to you for hours, so I hope one day you'll come back, maybe when a thunderstorm doesn't roll through New Hampshire and kick Erica's power off and knock her off the internet, and then her voice and audio is all delayed. We'll talk about the jorts and everything. You were so cool, so gracious with your time. We've gone well over an hour now. So thank you so much.
Of course.
I really enjoyed this. It was great, man. It was great. Erica, you have anything, any final words for Andy?
I just have to say thank you as well. I mean, I'm going to keep following along with your journey, especially with, what is it, the crazy mountain 100 that you have coming up in a little while. And I know that one's going to be a doozy, but I hope that everything goes smoothly. Yep. No injuries, and that you can just keep your streak alive.
And no alligators.
No alligators.
Right. I got to bring bear spray for Crazy Mountain. So that'll be my first race with bear spray.
Well, this was fun. Erica, you're going to get to hear about the bear bells later when you listen to this pod. You missed something about the bear bell. So this was fun, guys. I really hope you enjoyed Andy on the pod. That was fun. Andy, thank you, guys. Andy Glaze on the On the Runs podcast. That was fun.
Thank you.
Andy, thank you so much for coming on. I apologize once again for having the total shit show moment of losing power during the interview, but you handled it like a pro. Eric handled it like a pro. And I
did all right.
You did.
I struggle without you, but I did all right.
I'm going to need to re-listen to this because I'm so excited to hear what I missed. And I'm just glued to every word that Andy says. So I just wanted to wish you luck once more. I think I said it in the email. I don't even remember if we wished it in the episode, but you are taking on the challenge that you have coined the Crazy Lead Trail Do Rabbit 400, which is this like crazy amount of 100 milers all within like a few weeks span. So at this point, you've already done the Crazy Mountain 100. You've got Leadville coming up. You've got UTMB coming up, and then whatever the rabbit one. Holy shit. Like this is some epic stuff. And I hope you do it with a smile on your face because, like you always say, smile or you're doing it wrong.
That's right. We'll have to have him back because maybe next year, because there was so much more we could have talked about. Our notes had so much that we didn't cover because
We didn't talk about his jorts.
we didn't even talk about the shorts. So we have so much to talk about because you lost connection and you were gone for a while. And I spent
a shit show that was.
Kind of a little bit of time trying to help you figure it out. And that kind of killed some time. Editing helps make that go away. Good. But one really cool thing is when you lost internet, your computer didn't turn off. And because Riverside records locally, it kept recording you. And we captured it.
And I had no idea.
Awesome.
So let this be a lesson to anybody who uses Riverside and loses internet connection. It's still being recorded. So luckily I didn't
pick your nose, go gold digging and eat it.
I told him, I'm like, all right, if you ever want to use footage like that and I like fart or something stupid.
Farting?
Like
you
boogers.
Laugh at farts.
No, I know, but I'm like, please just tell me first. So I'm prepared.
I swear you knew.
Yeah,
I just posted it like an hour ago.
I watched it and I was like, oh. But you can see how funny it turned out with like me and a lantern and just trying to get back
let's get to that. Let's get to that. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Because the people who are listening, maybe they didn't see it yet. Here we go. You ready?
Sure. Oh no. Shit. Hello? Oh no. Oh, come on. No. You're kidding me.
That's the thunder.
Oh no. Oh no. No. I'm so heartbroken. Oh, shit.
Now this was a span of like 10 minutes and I just edited out a bunch of dead space.
Shit. God damn it.
You're going downstairs now.
That's me yelling at Brandon, yeah.
I don't know, but I'm fucking mid-interview and I'm so pissed. Well, obviously nothing, but god damn it.
See, Andy, that's how important.
I have no idea what it must have fucking hit a transformer. I don't know.
Apologies for all the F-bombs and stuff.
Natural. There's your cat.
Yeah.
You checking in on the cat?
That is some hella thunder.
That is hella thunder, right? Listen to that.
Damn.
Yeah. So that was it. Yeah, the thunder came rolling through. Holy shit.
Literally, though, I could see it getting dark out because we started recording. It was, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock or something, 6:30. I don't remember. So it was light out, but then all of a sudden it just got really dark.
Yeah, and I didn't know the thunderstorms were coming.
I saw like one flash of lightning, heard the thunder, internet went out, power's out. No lights, no nothing. And that's when my freak out happened.
So did like a transformer blow up or something?
It did hit one like down the street, yes.
Yeah.
I did find that out.
I love how Brandon was like, I know, but what do you want me to do about it? And you're like, obviously nothing, but you know.
I was so like, it had to be Andy though. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we recovered, really well, I think. We got you on the phone. Luckily, you got the data plan and Riverside works on your phone too. I think you hooked the microphone up to the phone.
I did.
And you recorded in the dark with a lantern. You look like the girl from the Blair Witch Project.
But yeah, I just have to say thank you again for you guys for rolling with me with that because my internet, just like the 5G through the phone was not super fast. Like I only get like 1 bar. So it was real laggy, but you guys rolled with it. And I mean, it was the best I could do at the time. So.
It was laggy. And if you watch the YouTube video, you'll get an understanding of some of the lag. I did my best to edit out the blank spaces.
Yeah.
But I don't edit the YouTube video like I do the audio. So anytime there was a delay or like someone talking over each other, like Andy and I might be talking and then you would jump in talking over us. But you on your end, you're thinking you're talking when you're supposed to. So on the audio, you don't come across that. You don't hear it. But in the video, you kind of do see it because you can't make it perfect, or at least I can't. I'm not at that level yet.
Hey.
So check out the YouTube video tomorrow on Wednesday, and you'll see it in the second half.
Anything's gonna be good, dude. I just appreciate you for trying to fix that because there was nothing I could do. I was just trying to get back in because I was like, I can't not talk to Andy.
Yeah,
this is too cool, and I don't want it to be ruined.
We'll just have to have him back. I think he enjoyed his time, and I think he thought the whole thing was kind of comical. with you and the Thunder, and he understands. We kept it at like that hour 15 mark that we try to do, which we don't do well with many people.
That's true. But I mean, he's got so much epic shit coming up that I would love to hear about some of his races. So, Andy, start saving up your stories. We'd love to have you later on in the year. If you're available, just hit us up.
And we got to talk about the shorts. Because that was in the notes and we missed it.
Shorts.
You're right. Legendary.
Beard knows what we're talking about.
Yeah. All right. So you currently have no voice. What are you doing to get better? Are you doing anything cool? Anything like the key to life? Did you find a new key to life?
So luckily this sickness is not sinus related, so I don't need the actual key to life.
Bummer.
But I bought myself one of the bougie. It's not a Stanley, but it's a big insulated water bottle thing, and it's been keeping my water cold, and it's the only thing
Staying
that's making
hydrated.
my throat feel good. I mean, I am trying to stay hydrated. I know that's key when you're sick, but it's hard to do when you have a sore throat and it hurts.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm trying. So I've kind of come to terms with, okay, I'm 39 now. Just started a new lap around the sun last month. And I've gotten sick a lot in the last 2 years since the boys were born, pretty much, since the twins came.
Yeah.
Where I never got sick before. I have to start taking better care of myself, like preventative maintenance.
Yes, definitely.
And with the exception of getting the IV fusion, which has been amazing and it makes me feel great for like 2 weeks as far as energy and running and everything goes. I don't take vitamins. I don't take
vitamins.
You do? So I'm on the hunt for like the newest, greatest multivitamin, and I have been taking the Emergency like Immunity Plus. So I'm thinking I need to boost my immune system because every time these boys get me sick, my immune system goes down the drain.
Always sick. Yeah.
So I'm in the market. I've been taking the Emergency, the one you pour in like 6 ounces of water. It tastes good. I think a lot of people do this, and I just don't think about it because I never got sick before. And I'm like, I can beat this. I can get better. Just give me a couple days. But each time I get sick, it gets a little longer and a little longer. And then I get better, but maybe I don't get fully better. So I've been taking some vitamins.
Yeah.
And I'm on the lookout for more. But then this woman at work, she thinks I have a gluten allergy.
Really?
And that's not exciting because I love me some gluten.
What are you going to do if you're allergic to dairy and gluten?
Oh my God, I don't know.
You might as well crawl into a hole.
But she's like, what do you eat? And I tell her what I eat. And she goes, well, my girlfriend has the same symptoms as you, which are all really sinus and headache and sinus pressure. And she goes, she found out it was a gluten allergy. She stopped eating gluten and it went away. I'm like, oh. Are you serious?
You got it. You know, though, even if you do have a gluten allergy, I mean, there are some good gluten-free alternatives nowadays. Even like donuts and cupcakes, you can still have that stuff. Yeah. But we know Lindsay can make a mean gluten-free cupcake or
Lindsay, what's up?
Vegan cupcake. So I'm sure she could make us something good.
Well, while you were getting sick and I'm getting better thinking about taking vitamins, I got to run in a 5K last week, and I had an epic Code Brown that turned out to buff out just fine. But I ran in the Delta Dental Elliott 5K. I said it wrong on the Instagram. I said Cigna because I still think it's Cigna.
That's what it's been for years. So.
I know, but I signed up because I had this amazing window of opportunity where Adeline had 3 hours of dance, like 3 hours of dance. What?
That's a long time for a kid. Jeez.
So I go all the way to my parents' house to grab the running stroller because it's been there all summer and the tires were flat. So I filled up the tires with air. And maybe I filled them a little too much with air because I got them pretty hard. I'm like, all right, we're good. Throw it in the van. We drive home. This is the night before. I get back from work the next day. I get the boys. I grab the stroller. We get dressed. We go there. We get Rockstar parking. We're there an hour and 5 minutes early. I pull the stroller out. This is like one of those nice running strollers with 2 seats, by the way. Tires were completely flat.
Oh, no.
The rear tires. The front tire was fine. So I bring the van 2 seconds away to like a Jiffy Lube. I said, yo, do you guys have tire thing? And they're like, yeah, we do. We'll try. But they couldn't get it on because of the angle and the way the bike tires were on the stroller. And I'm noticing, like, is it that they can't get it on, or am I really screwed here? Because the tires are no longer sealed to the rim.
Oh, no.
So then I go to a gas station. In that gas station, the pump's not working. I go to another gas station. I pay $2 to turn the pump on, and the tires won't take air.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, do I go back to the house real quick, get the crappy stroller that's not meant for running, or do we just run with flat tires, baby, and go for it? And I chose let's go for it. I want to get there because I like to be at races early to mingle and talk to people. So I'm walking the stroller with the boys in it, like a half a mile to the starting line, flat tires. Everyone's like, your tires are flat. I know my tires are flat. I know.
Do you realize what I've just been through trying to fix it?
We'll figure it out. And then it starts to rain, which was really nice, actually. And I meet with Tara Pterodactyl, and Lindsay's there. And I met Susie, who's like an epic fan. First time I got to meet Susie.
Nice.
And they're thinking like, oh my God, do I want to be associated with this guy with flat tires? Except for Susie. Susie loved being around me. I think it was actually the boys. She entertained the boys. We lined up like in the middle, like legit the middle. We're in the middle of 4,000 people. I think it was more like 1,000. I think like 3,000 stayed away because of the weather. But it was still 1,000. 1,000's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm totally wrong. Millennium, tell me, am I totally wrong? Was there really 4,000 people there? But I felt like I was in the middle of the road, the middle of the pack with 9-minute pacers. I'm like, no way am I going to be 9 minutes with this. Lindsay and Susie like kind of protected me the first quarter of a mile. And the thing just rolled. And it rolled fine. And I ran the 5K pushing a double stroller at an easy 9:20 pace. With two flat tires.
That's excellent work, dude.
I'm passing people with flat tires here. I think what played a key role was the front tire wasn't flat, and it helped it like start, right?
Gotcha.
You just don't push down on it. Tyler was loving it. He's like looking everywhere. Tommy was just like
like Adeline from that one time.
Yeah, Adeline was a little more mad. Tommy was just bored. Where Tyler was so excited. But the seat Tommy was in was kind of broken, so it like reclined back a little too much.
Oh, I see.
Right? And so he would really have to work to be up. But that was a lot of fun. It did rain, but the rain was nice. It was cool seeing people before and after. I saw Katie Sparkles.
Did you? That's
Katie
fun.
was there. I didn't get to hang out after because I had to go to dance. Like we hung out for 10 minutes. The boys grabbed 4 bananas, 2 each, 2 toothbrushes. And I saw some people from my old work, which is still my work, but different in my old building.
Yeah.
And that was cool. But then we ran out. But I am loving showing up to races early now because it seems a lot of people sometimes will leave right after. It's hit or miss, right? You don't finish with everybody. We didn't see Tara after. I saw Susie and Lindsay. I wasn't far behind them. They didn't want to be associated with me in the flat tires, though. They're like, after protecting me. Thank you for the protection, by the way, ladies. But they eventually ran off. They were playing this animal game. Like, okay, I'm thinking of an animal. What they wanted to play with Tommy and Tyler. They weren't into it. They don't know the animal game. And so then I hear Lindsay and Susie going, okay, I'm thinking of an animal. What's the animal? Is it an elephant? No. Does it live in Africa? No. Where do you find, those type of things.
Asking questions. Yeah.
And then they just ran off. I wonder if they played the animal game the whole time. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it.
It's distraction.
You know what else I can't do? I do it all the time, but like people are getting into this.
What?
Raw dogging. Raw dogging their runs, raw dogging their airplane flights.
People, all right, that's not what it means. It had a whole different meaning. Oh my God.
No, they're like running. Like, I'm going to run no lube, no music, no headphones, no one to talk to. I'm going to look straight the whole time. I'm like, I do that all the time, but I add lube.
Oh God.
These other people are raw dogging their airplane flights. Like, I'm going to sit in my seat, look straight the whole time, never out the window, never anywhere, not go to the bathroom. That I'm not like, why are you doing that to yourself, dude?
I don't know. It's like, it's a mental test, I guess, testing your mental strength, which I don't know why.
One guy's like, I just raw dogged an 8-hour flight across the pond.
Miserable.
Why are you doing that, man?
Sounds totally miserable. I don't know. That just makes the time pass so much slower. I don't know. But you know who else did that during an ultra? I believe he's going to be next week's guest.
Oh, he's next week's guest? That's right.
Mm-hmm. No music.
Yeah.
Just
Did we talk about
frickin'
that?
going out there? I don't remember if we did or not, but we can bring it up in the tros for next week too.
Yeah, hopefully you feel better too.
Oh, I better. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's gonna be miserable if I'm not.
The other thing, I don't know if you saw, I made a
Mhm.
call out to the Wild the other week. I said, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner, an accountability, strength training person. And I think
I said me. Like, hey,
yeah,
send
you
me
did
what
say
you
you, but we
want.
tried this before. It didn't work. I know what works and what doesn't work. I needed something new. I mean, if
Okay,
you want
fine. I
into
see
my
where
new
we stand.
tripod strength training group, and you want to make it a fourth leg, you need to participate and
table.
be a part of this. Because
Well, you gotta clue me in.
no, I don't know. I like my tripod right now because I have,
Are you guys hearing this? This is some shit.
yeah.
This is some shit. I think we're fighting.
So I got myself a new strength training team and I'm calling ourselves the tripod. I don't know. That's a terrible name, but we're tripod.
It's terrible because you won't let me in.
I have Chad. I can't let you in now because it wouldn't be a tripod.
It'll be a table. Those are sturdy.
The plank. Oh, we could be the plank. All right, let me
See?
think about it. But right
I'm
now
fine.
I made a call out on Instagram, right? And I said, I need someone. And 2 people responded and they're like, I want to do this because I need to be accountable too. So I have the Clydesdale runner. That's Chad, the buddy my new friend I ran with out in
That's
Harrisburg,
right.
Pennsylvania, right?
Yep.
And then I have Jay Duncan. Jay Duncan's on the tripod team. And so the best part was,
And I'm chopped liver. Okay, I see.
you're
where
chopped
we're at.
liver. The best part was, I started a group chat like a week and a half ago. All right, this is our team. Let's do it. You 2 responded. Let's go. Let's keep ourselves accountable. 2 to 3 days a week of strength training. And it went silent until yesterday where Chad checked in. He goes, all right, team, checking in. And we've been responding, bouncing back and forth on each other. And Jay was like, I had a bad weekend. I didn't do much strength training. I go, that's bullshit. You went hiking. That counts.
Yeah,
I saw you hiking. She goes, okay, cool. So we got each other's support. Got our strength training team. I need it. So I'm going to do some tomorrow.
Well, if you ever do decide you want a plank or a table instead of a tripod, clue me in.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to leave it up to Chad and Jay.
All right. We'll see if the votes are there.
So right now, give your pitch. Give your pitch to Chad and Jay. What is your pitch to join the team and become a plank?
I mean, I reached out when Eric asked also, but he did not clue me in.
I think I clearly said on the post that we tried this before and it didn't work out.
He didn't give me another
tell
chance.
me how it will work out this time.
The more support that we have behind us, the more successful we will be. So if I've got you and Chad and Jay, how can I let you guys down? I need the accountability just as much as you guys need accountability. So,
Right.
And we all know that stretching and strength training are my probably weakest points because running is second nature at this point. But it's the extra stuff, the cross training that I need extra help with. And like I said, it takes a village. It takes a village. So if you'll have me.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not up to me. It's up to Jay and Chad.
All right.
So Jay and Chad make your
await,
decision.
I will await the
You
votes.
better hope they listen to the end of the podcast, too. Might be a few days.
At this
You're
point,
like
I'm
waiting
like,
for them
who
to
knows?
get there and like, did you listen yet? Did you listen? So Jay and Chad, it's up to you. Do we become a plank? Like what happens
if
here?
If not, I think I got to get in touch with KJ because I got to start thinking about my next year's goals. So I might be hitting her up soon.
Are you thinking still ultras or are you going to go back to like some fast marathons?
I want to try to improve my speed again, but I don't think I'm going to get rid of ultras. I mean, how can I get rid of anchor down? Like that's a staple in my
True, but are you
going
to like travel across the country for an ultra marathon? I think you should. I think that's your game now. Like you don't want to go downhill. I don't mean downhill. Like I mean like you've been going up and up and up. And you're loving it. You're loving
I have a couple of marathons that I have planned for early next year, and I think if I just keep taking it a step at a time, a goal at a time, that's how I got to do it. So I've got Sheep Marathon next April, so I think I'm going to focus the winter on getting past that, try to see if I can improve. I'd like to do another sub 4 if I can. So
okay,
I gotta get on board, and I think I want to work with KJ.
KJ, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Could we get like a bi-monthly recap? Maybe we could do a
don't know,
monthly
man.
where we talk with my coach and the other month your coach. They would do it.
I think
They would do it.
pretty
They've been
cool.
on the pod before, both of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She can
Speaking
tell
of a
me
recap.
on the pod of all the crap that I'm not doing right.
Yeah. Speaking of a recap, you owe us an Olympic recap, an Olympic
I do.
special edition episode.
Yes.
Because your immune system sucks right now, we're gonna let you get away this week and maybe do it a week late.
I think it's okay because the closing ceremony was just yesterday. And plus, we've got the Paralympics coming up. So, I mean, there's still Olympic hype in the air. But I know that you said you didn't watch much of it besides all the memes and stuff going around. So I'll see if I can finagle a recap for you in some capacity. Just let my voice get a little bit better.
Okay, now hold on here.
Yes.
Do you think you can do it on your own? I won't be there. Now, you won't be on your own, actually. You'll be with someone special. We had someone else who's just as
I got
obsessed
somebody
with
in
you.
mind.
But you think the two of you could roll through an episode by yourself? And it doesn't have to be a full episode, just a special, maybe a segment, maybe like a bonus episode. Maybe I jump in for a little bit to talk about the pole vaulter with the ginormous Johnson.
You're already ruining. You're taking away from our recap. Stop it.
Or the clown show of the breakdancing.
These
Or
memes are
Turkey's
so good.
007.
Stop taking away all of our points. But I already have taken initiative and I have sent a list of potential topics to my guest who I have in mind. So we will see if we can make this happen.
Well, I hope when you make it happen, because you're going to make it happen, it's in your contract. I hope when you do that you give some love to the ones who really earned it, because I feel like the people who got the most like social media buzz did for the wrong reasons, when the other ones who worked for it all their lives and earned
Trust
it.
me,
Nothing
it's-
against you if you were born lucky or happened to have a really good shot. But I mean, the track and fields, which is the only thing I got to watch, was amazing, and those people need some love.
Oh, believe me, that's what I've been glued to for the past 2 weeks. So
You know what I just thought?
What?
You should do a Paralympic update too, because that's coming up. Are you going to be watching those?
It starts on the 28th, I believe. So I will try to watch as much of it as I can. But I mean, I've still got the Olympic buzz. That was so much fun.
You
this
in the
these
special
weeks.
co-host. It's not my daughter, by the way, but the special co-host for the Olympics. I would love for you to come back and do a Paralympic update next month.
Well, let us get through the regular Olympic one first, and let's see how we do. And if we pass the test, then we can do the Paralympic one too.
Well, I think you'll be fine, because last week you learned what a record button was, and that was great. You're improving. But I feel bad because you don't feel good. I know what that feels like. I feel like we've been struggling through these throws because of the sickness. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a break. We actually had a scheduled recording tonight with a guest. We bumped that a week so you can feel better and get your voice back. So
If
go
she
rest.
listens, she'll know why.
Yeah, go rest, get your voice back.
Mhm.
Guys, thank you so much for supporting the pod. If anyone here is new who loved Andy, guys, we have some amazing guests every week, just like Andy. Next week's guest is going to be awesome. He's doing this whole crazy 50 state thing and he did an ultramarathon the other week with you.
Sort of with
You didn't
me.
even know you were both going to be there. So that was super cool.
Awesome
But guys,
coincidence.
Follow us on Instagram. Check us out at On The Runs. We got a YouTube channel now that we're growing. We're on Threads. Sometimes I'm threading it up. TikTok, Pterodactyl is running our TikTok. Some of our posts recently are doing wicked good for not posting much at all, versus Instagram's been down lately for some reason. I don't know what's up with the algorithm.
Beats me.
And then Facebook. Facebook might be back because
yeah?
I had to re-download it on my phone, because that is how my daughter's cheerleading team communicates everything. And I had to special request, get invited to the group. And I have to go on every day to get updates on practice, or if a rainstorm's coming, what to expect. We're going to go inside or outside today.
Mhm.
And so now I'm getting all the notifications. So for the time being, Facebook might be back. Don't expect me to be super. But it's back right now. The book is back. And then as we talked about earlier, if you really love us, we have a Patreon page, and our Patreons are growing, and we occasionally do some drib jabbers. We're not going to do one this week. We're going to let Erica save her voice. But jibber jabbers at a time. There might be some bonuses or some extra things, benefits like hoodies. We just got our hoodies. So join our Patreon page, become a friend of the pod or a lover of the pod. We love you regardless. God, Erica, I'm sorry I'm making you talk all this time, or at least I'm talking, but feel better, get lots of sleep, lots of rest. You can continue that streak and just walk a mile a day all week. I won't
That's
give
the
you a
plan.
hard time. I know the feeling, but I did run through the sickness. So if you don't do it, you're soft. Don't fear the code brown. Take us home, Erica. I love you.
I just can't win with this guy. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I promise I'll come back next week, good as new. And as always, don't forget to stretch.
3, 2, 1.
Gonna run the Wyndham Rail Trail from the Wyndham side
Oh, that's nice.
of Wyndham.
Yeah.
That's a down and back though, 10K. So
No, I do enjoy the Wyndham. That's why I keep going back to the cheap marathon, because I like that stretch.
I enjoy the Wyndham.
It is quite bougie.